Liverpool v Arsenal betting tips plus how to win with Man United and 35-1 Premier League treble. In the blue corner, the challenger. It's a while since that's been the case, but not only have Manchester City surrendered top spot in the Premier League, they've also given up their favourites tag with Liverpool sitting at the head of the betting. We'll know more after they've squared up next Thursday night, but there's plenty to get stuck into before that crunch clash with the Reds taking on Arsenal in the top-flight match of the weekend. Here's our game-by-game guide to the final round of fixtures for 2018, kicking off at 3 p.m. on Saturday unless stated. Both teams to score is about the only bet that jumps off the page for this meeting on the South Coast. Unpredictable Everton lost 6-2 and won 5-1 in their last two matches, and the total goals tally in their last 5 stands at 24, with them scoring almost half of them and both teams finding the net each time. As for Brighton, they've scored at least once in their last dozen Premier League games at the Amex Stadium. The most recent came against Arsenal, as they were given the Christmas gift of a point from a game they really should have lost, and as well as halting a run of 3 straight defeats that might just spur them on to something against the Toffees. Both teams to score is 5-6, while a draw with both teams scoring is 18-5 with a few bookies. When these two met in Yorkshire back in October, when Huddersfield won 1-0, they occupied the bottom 2 places in the Premier League. No change there. What is slightly different is that at least back then the Terriers were capable of springing the odd result, beating Wolves and drawing with West Ham around the same time. Since then, they've set out on a 6-match losing stretch, their worst of the season, and will become just the second team in the competition, after Leicester in April 2001, to lose every game in a calendar month if Fulham take the points. Like Huddersfield, Cottagers striker Alexander Mitrovic was a bit better earlier in the campaign, 4 goals in his first 6 games, then 1 in 13 and none in his last half dozen. He missed 8 chances against Wolves on Boxing Day, but Sportsmail's Jamie Redknapp highlighted how unlucky he was and praised his performance. He can get back on track on Saturday in his 9 halves, bet 365, for the first goal. 23/10 in the score win double or 9-1 with bet 365 to grab 2 or more. There can't be many better ways to stick 2 fingers up at fans calling for your head than sending your team out to beat first Chelsea and then Manchester City. Results as impressive as they were unexpected, but still Claude Puel heads the betting, 2-1, to be the next top-flight boss out of a job. There's no danger his name won't still be on the door after this weekend, as a home clash with Cardiff is about as easy as it gets. Neil Warnock's side drew at Crystal Palace last time out, but that doubled their points tally on the road. That's 2 from a possible 27. The Foxes are no better than 3-5 but are 7/4 with a few firms to win -1 goal on the handicap and 9 halves to win minus a couple. No team in the division would be looking forward to facing Tottenham after they scored 11 goals across 2 Christmas crackers against Everton and Bournemouth, while leapfrogging Manchester City into second place in the table. It's easy to see why they're no better than 2-5 at Wembley on Saturday. Wolves don't score or concede many away from home. Only 5 teams have scored fewer goals on their travels, and only Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea have let in fewer on the road. Wolves have also only allowed 1 team to put more than 2 past them in a game this term, Tottenham. So while another 5 or 6 goal haul might be too much to ask, with the likes of Harry Kane and Son Jimenez in the form they're in, a home win with over 3.5 total goals in the game looks the best bet at 12-5. A win for the hosts with over 4.5 combined goals is also worth a nibble at 5-1. Watford fans might worry about how their team will cope against 11 men on Saturday when it took only 1 to beat them last time out. Eden Hazard was the difference at Vicarage Road on Boxing Day, winning the points for Chelsea with deadly double to cap a fine individual display and take him through the 100-goal mark for his team. What might give Watford hope is that the 11 they'll face this time will be wearing Newcastle shirts. The Magpies have won just 1 of their last 6 and haven't scored in their last 2, drawing 0-0 with Fulham and losing 4-0 at Liverpool. It should be a home win, and Watford are 17-20, but, as has been highlighted here in previous weeks, Newcastle have been better away from home than at St James this campaign. They've let in 11 on the road, and that's a better defensive record than any other team in the bottom half. A 1-0 to Watford is 13 halves with a few bookies, while the home side by a 1-goal margin is 12-5. Since Lucas Podolski and Sandy Cazorla scored in an Arsenal triumph at Anfield in September 2012, they've visited Liverpool 5 times without winning, drawing twice, losing the other 3 and conceding 17 goals. Gunners boss Unai Emery can distance himself from those numbers, but there's no escaping the fact Arsenal had more points after 19 games in 2 of the last 3 years, and at the moment, while impressing earlier on, don't look near the level Liverpool are on. The hosts are on a 30-game unbeaten run at Anfield and look nailed on to make it 31. Arsenal have won just 1 of their last 12 away games against teams starting the day top of the pile. They've lost the last 6 of those, scoring just twice and letting in 17 goals in the process. And they couldn't beat Brighton on Wednesday in their 9th straight away game in the league without a clean sheet. Liverpool are no better than 1/2, but you can get 9-5 they win with both teams scoring. Jurgen Klopp's men are 11-1 to win 3-1. It was hats off to Palace for that win over Man City, but it was head-shaking that followed when they were held to a goalless draw by terrible travellers Cardiff. Despite that setback, the 7 points they've managed in their last 3 games, they also beat Leicester, is more than they managed in the 11 before, 6. So they go into this one on the back of 3 games without defeat and will face a team they've beaten twice in their last 4 matchups. It's a derby, and Chelsea's recent record in them isn't great, no wins in 5 away from home, but Palace's is even worse. They've drawn 3 and lost 8 with just 1 win against capital rivals in their last 12 under Roy Hodgson. Chelsea can take this, but high draw FT win is worth a punt at 4-1 with Bet Victor. West Ham put 4 past Burnley when they met back in early November and are one of 8 teams to have scored 3 or more goals against Sean Dyche's side, who have leaked 41 goals already, 2 more than they let in during the whole of last season. Felipe Anderson scored 2 of the 4 last month and followed that up with 3 in his next 5. He claimed his second double of the campaign on Thursday night, as Southampton boss Ralph Hasenhüttl's bubble was burst, and is worth taking in the score-win double at 9 halves, Paddy Power and Sky Bet. West Ham are 13/10 to win. It's not that long ago that Manchester City were the surest things in the Premier League, but now is the time to consider long shots when looking for a bet on Pep Guardiola's side. If there's anything to be learned from their not-so-merry Christmas, when they lost 2 in a row to Palace and Leicester, it's that anything can happen. They should get back to winning ways at St Mary's and are no better than 1/3, but they haven't kept a clean sheet in 9 outings, all competitions vertical bar. So the 9-5 they win with over 3.5 total goals and the game appeals. As for that long shot, you can get 14-1 both teams score in both halves. It was no surprise that Man United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would go on the attack, and after 2 straight wins and 8 goals scored, he's rubbing his hands at having 6 forwards at his disposal. Anthony Martial, Romelu Lukaku, Alexis Sanchez, Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard and Juan Mata were all mentioned in his pre-match press conference. He's hinted at changes against the Cherries with Lukaku and Sanchez back in training, and if they're on the bench, take a look at the last goal scorer prices. Sanchez is 4-1 with Lukaku 15/4. Bournemouth have lost 5 on the spin away from home in all competitions, failing to score in the last 3, so a rare United clean sheet is worth backing. They're 17/10. Bet Victor, to win without conceding, while 3-0 is 10-1, Bet 365. Homes: Fulham, Leicester, Manchester United, Tottenham, Birmingham, Kilmarnock. 21 Bet Victor aways: Man City, Luton, Forest Green, Arbroath, Celtic. 19-1 several firms draws: Brighton v Everton, Millwall v Forest, Barnsley v Charlton. 45-1 Bet 365 anytime scorer: Felipe Anderson, Alexander Mitrovic, Danny Ings. 35-1 bet away from oddschecker.com, correct at time of publication.